I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Hello everyone, welcome to another political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. Joining me to discuss, I fumbled, I stammer, sorry folks. Joining me to discuss some politics and other things I'm sure is Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
How is Trups?
Trups is doing okay. Nothing crazy. It's one of those Fridays where you want to go do stuff. Oh, guess what? It's raining. Well, yay.
Lucky bastard, it's been muggy here today. I hated it. I almost broke a sweat hanging a shelf. And not because I'm not. Sorry.
I was going to say, unfortunately, when you have rain early in the day, everything sucks after that.
Yeah, we had it last night, so that was just perfect. I mean, I'm not against it, but at the same time, walking to work in a coat, coming home, perspiring through the coat, not ideal. And by the way, in case anyone thinks this, I'm not fat. I promise you that I'm really not. I genuinely was perspiring because I've got a very small room, and the sun was coming through my windows. It was incredible, and it was humid today as well, which did not help. But I'm peak excitement. Okay, I hung a shelf. It's
Oh yes, peak excitement.
Yeah, I knocked on wood. It's actually made of wood as well. I can't believe it. I know it's
knocked on everything.
Right, it changes the whole world. This is peak middle-aged excitement, folks. Talking about the weather and wooden shelves.
I mean, that's just what everyone has to experience as they go through life. After
you
all.
got like another 10 years yet.
I don't. Yeah, I guess so.
You youngin. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That's what you are. Hello,
but,
chat.
What have you been up to this week? Doing anything interesting besides obviously hanging a shelf?
To be honest, that was the most exciting thing. I have been repainting walls in my room just to freshen the paint, essentially, on wallpaper walls that were painted a certain color. Again, middle-aged. Played a bit on my guitar. I pre-ordered a book, limited edition book on Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels. I got the limited edition version, and I picked it up, and I had really struggled to do anything else until I finished it, because I really enjoyed it. Reading a book, eating chocolate, and because obviously last week, as many will know, I was recovering from food poisoning. I ate a lot more junk food because my body is used to that as a means of recovery. This week we were back on what I call shred season, and we've done fine, to be honest. Back on target, so we're good. Without cutting corners, because we don't do that thing here. We're not that kind of person.
Oh no.
Yeah. Beyond that, no. It's been pretty quiet on my end, work-wise. I got a pay rise from the pub. I've never asked for one in 10 years. I asked for a little bit extra to account for inflation and the fact that supplies have gone up, and they agreed. And I was like, "Wait, you actually said yes? You guys are cheap." But I'll take it.
We?
Extra. Oh, the pub are. They're horrendous for it. Their staff haven't had a pay rise in 3 years yet. Inflation's gone up by 10%. Their wages mean nothing now.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just kind of typical for everybody involved right now, isn't it?
It would be.
I feel like we're having that discussion all the time.
True. In this instance, though, the pub in question, they have businesses and properties abroad. They have stacks, ridiculous amounts, but they offset a lot of their profits abroad, so they don't pay as much tax because they're clever. What about yourself?
Not a whole lot because I've just been basically doing work, working as my daily thing goes on, and then
Okay.
then we get to Friday when I get to actually talk with y'all.
How exciting. Interestingly, for those who are listening on YouTube, last week's stream, I put it on Twitter, it cracked me up, got approved for monetization. Apparently, we managed to. It's one of the very few of our streams that's ever been monetized. Yes, go and listen back anyway, and by all means, give us crap for our audio. For those who are curious, also, this will be uploaded to Spotify tomorrow. Both of us are recording the stream on Audacity, and I'm going to try and sexify the end product later. It should be interesting to try and sync them up because obviously I'll only hear Trups on one end and me on the other, and I'll just line them up, and hopefully we'll have a better quality on Spotify. If you are at all interested in listening to it there instead. It will be linked somewhere, I'm sure, if I remember to put it in the pinned comment after the stream.
Eventually, we will get good at this in a professional sense, and we will just be able to just bang out constant, good quality stuff. But today is a learning day, and you guys get to be there with us. So thanks, I guess.
Yeah, it is the litmus test. So last week we spoke about the settlement with Fox News. I think that's where we should go first. They had to pay hundreds of millions, not as much as requested originally from the lawsuit. If memory serves, the billions are on the line. And we discussed more controversial names working for Fox, and it had been said on that stream that perhaps Fox, if they wanted for the sake of optics to appear to change, they would want to distance themselves from people who might draw the wrong kind of light to their network.
Yes.
So what happened next?
So at least for what we know today, is that Tucker Carlson was in fact released from Fox News. Allegedly, it was amicable. That is what they originally had said. It doesn't seem as if Tucker has had any, negative opinions outwardly. He has not said anything.
So he has said something. See, on his Twitter, he put a video out today. I watched it. He was incredibly...
today?
Yeah, he was very... Was it yesterday or today? He was very positive and very upbeat and taking stock of the situation, and I was very surprised because, I mean, in one respect, I'm not. He has been offered some opportunities with other networks, I believe. I don't know if he'd do that because does he need that kind of... Does he need to, really?
I mean, no?
I mean...
I don't know.
If it was amicable, it came across as part of a settlement. Oh, we'll settle with you, but you got to get rid of Tucker Carlson. And we also know it came direct from Rupert Murdoch's desk anyway.
The Dominion lawyer did state on a interview with MSNBC that Tucker Carlson's firing was not at all a condition of the settlement.
I'm glad it wasn't, because that would have been a massive, dick move.
So some people have had differing speculation because, unfortunately, we don't have a confirmation per se about the reasons why. We have a lot of speculation, some of it with more evidence than others. But some of the speculation that people have been mentioning is that Tucker was getting too big for the business.
Do you think he was?
I definitely think he was. Just based on the fallout that Fox has received since his leaving, yes, I do believe that he has a considerable amount of sway.
Should be a talk show host.
Well, yes, he was also a radio host, and his mother has a food dynasty.
Really?
As well, yes.
I did not know this.
So there are some very interesting pieces to that which could lend themselves to other information and stuff like that. But for Tucker, one of the reasons why he's possibly not saying anything was there was a report that came out that said that Fox does this thing where they will take opposition information about their workers, and they will keep it in a file, just in case you ever decide you want to, you know, break the rule or break the whatever the fucking thing, the agreement per se, we'll call it.
Settlement.
Yeah. Thank you.
Terms
or the severance. That's what I was thinking of.
That works. Yeah. Okay.
So with that, yeah, I mean there are some. You could say there are some very valid points of information there. I don't know necessarily if we're going to ever like fully know what's gone on until there's like a follow-on settlement of something, or you know.
Do you think there's a chance we could find out, or do you think this will get buried so they can just move on?
Yes, I very well think that we could find out 100%. I'd be cautious to see how, though, because if we were to get information that would impugn the character of Tucker Carlson, I would be hesitant to fully agree with it, just because it would sound like more opposition stuff that I had just mentioned. Like, I wouldn't necessarily just be so keen to agree that, oh yeah, that's a thing that we just agree is true and accurate information, totally isn't. I'm getting back at you for speaking ill of my company. So I don't know if I could ever believe that any information that came out, unless everything was like, it was my time, I left the company, the end.
How long? Tucker Carlson's been there a while.
True.
I mean, he's got a fair amount of service with them, and he's drawn, regardless of positive and negative in the news industry. It always seemed to come across that positive or negative didn't really matter. News was news, and if you can draw the attention, you had the chance of raising the profile of your network. And when you think of more left-leaning outlets and more right-leaning outlets, with the left, you've got quite a few names in the US and the UK. On the right, in the UK, realistically, you maybe have the Spectator and you've got mostly the Daily Mail. On the right, what are the main ones in America?
MSNBC, CNN, Fox News.
You mean CNN on the right?
Oh no, sorry. I was just listing off the main ones.
Yeah.
If you want specifically, like
more conservative leaning.
More conservative leaning would be things like Fox News, OAN, but OAN kind of got like screwed.
Okay, so OAN were the one I believe I heard about. Lunar Post. Okay, so OAN I believe I'd heard about making an offer to Tucker Carlson.
I believe that 100%.
I believe that was what I saw. I will have to confirm it. OAN. Let's find out. Don't know. Oh, hang on.
OAN was the one that was Russian, or at least accused of being Russian.
Yeah. So OAN host has claimed the network's founder made a substantial offer to Tucker Carlson, but, in quote, I don't think he's responding. I don't think Tucker Carlson needs to do anything. If he wants, he could just make videos on Twitter. It doesn't. And okay, his stock will go down in time, but he doesn't have to do anything.
Honestly, I think that if he decides to ignore the requests from networks, he could do so much better for himself in the long run. He could make so much money if he did, let's say, like a Crowder, like separate mug club, or like a Timcast thing. Well, if he does his own thing, he could rake in, I'm talking millions a month.
There are a few different things here for his net worth. You've got net worths on one website says $30 million. You've got another that says $420 million. You've got one that says $600 million. I mean, if it's between 30 and 370, I'm inclined to believe it because some of the salaries for Fox anchors is quite high. You've got Sean Hannity, his salary is $45 million a year. 25
But
of that comes
it's
from
not-
Fox.
It's not even necessarily that he himself is like actually worth that. It's the fact that he is going to eventually inherit a large sum from his mother.
That's handy.
So I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Where would you
Yeah,
like
I
to see
think
him
that-
go? Where would you like to see him next? Do you want to see him on
I would
YouTube,
rather-
Rumble? Do you want to see him do his own thing, his own show?
I'd rather just see him do his own thing. I wasn't too of an active watcher of his.
I only ever saw him through Sinatra, and even then I wasn't really paying attention. Tucker Tuesday was his thing. For me, Tucker Carlson, and I'm not throwing shade at him, I don't pay attention to these people much. I saw him as very confrontational, but in the sense that you need to be. Everyone, all presenters should be like that, regardless of their political beliefs. I think that makes it more. That confrontation is required. I see it with there is a boxing commentator for a channel called Talk Sport, and he gets a lot of crap because he does time to time get it wrong massively, but he holds everyone to the same level of contempt except for his favourite boxer. Because even though the guy's an absolute dobber, useless bum, he can't see past that blind spot. But for the majority of the people he talks to, he will hold them to that same mark, and he is confrontational. He puts you under pressure, and I think that's important. You need those kind of people. You don't want people to just sit there and let you constantly finish a sentence while saying nothing with that limited time you are given on telly. I think it's important.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. I do agree with that. One of the things that I wonder with what that
How to phrase,
because I don't know if all of the things that he was always saying was his own thoughts. Does that make sense?
yes, it does, because obviously he will be given some guidelines, of course, to work with.
Because I don't know if Fox gave him a script or they let him just go off.
So that's an important
kind
point.
of where I'm going.
Because when it came to the contention concerning comments he'd made with regards to January the 6th, the insurrection, the biggest thing against democracy thingamajiggy doodah ever.
Yes,
he has been very
terrible.
He has been a very strong proponent. Is that the word for
Sure.
for not believing that the election was legit, and I felt that was a dangerous area to be on, but he held a very firm position, I believe.
So actually, it turns out he wasn't as on board with it as we had previously thought.
Now, I appreciate that correction because this is where I've seen many arguments on Twitter for the best part of a week from creators, a lot of the anti-SJW types in the past, who are very left-leaning, going after people like Tim Pool for pushing. Well, they're pushing the idea that he did the Trump the denial stuff. Yeah, the election was rigged stuff, whereas Tim Pool has said it's not quite it.
Right, and like this is a fair thing to say, really. Like, if you're gonna say that, like, what he see, I don't necessarily know. It's so hard to guess because I'm basically just trying to speculate based on like some data, but I don't know what's going on in your head. So it's like it's even a hard thing to even pretend to like understand or
But that's okay. We don't have to speculate. We just know that this is a messy situation, and we just we're curious where he goes next.
Yeah, I think so too, and I would very much like to see things for him.
Yeah.
If nothing else, just because he is one of the most prominent voices. Some have actually speculated that he's trying to run for president.
No. He couldn't.
Is it so far out of the realm of possibility?
What state is he in anyway?
I believe, actually, New York, he would have to be.
Tucker Carlson. I would assume New York.
But he could have multiple houses and homes.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with the money he has earned. He was at least earning 20 million a year. I don't know. I can't imagine he would run. I can't see it. He'd be a very good speaker. Oh, okay, hang on. Born in San Francisco, he probably could do California in one of the more rural areas. I didn't realize he was a Democrat for 14 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was actually a moderate Democrat who leaned right.
Ah, interesting. This is news to me. I'm looking at his Wikipedia basically because I can't be asked. I can't be asked to look anywhere else. And he was okay. So he was on. He had Tucker Carlson Tonight for 7 years. He had that show for 7 years. That's not bad, really. I mean, the guy's worked for CNN, PBS, MSNBC, and then Fox News. He's his moderate was interesting. And Fox, he's been there for 14 years.
Yes.
So that's very interesting.
Because he was a radio host for a while, and then he had some other jobs. I know that he's moved around quite a bit.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, if he does run for office, obviously that would be very interesting. But I can imagine he would be treated with a certain level of contempt by many on social media who will use that to try and find a way to get rid of him.
Oh, without a doubt. I genuinely believe that. We'll have to see necessarily what comes out of it, because if he may not do anything at all, is the thing. Like he may choose just to like wave it off and just live out without it. But that just doesn't sound like Tucker to me. So
it'd be a waste of voice, I think. And I think he knows, unless he doesn't have the motivation, I think he knows he is an influence.
I think he has all of the motivation that he would possibly need, to be honest with you.
He's not old. He's only, 53? I mean, the guy's got...
You're looking at the thing.
I'm looking at his thing, yeah. He was born in 60. He's 53. It's fine. He's nearly 54. But he's still got a lot of life. So, and if he wants to...
So I think he'll probably do something. It's just, we'll see what he does.
I'm intrigued by his Twitter videos. If he does more of those, I'll probably pay a bit more attention, because otherwise I really wasn't listening to him. We'll see where he goes from there, really.
Yeah, okay. I guess so.
Actually, I'll ask one last question.
Okay.
Do you think it's good or bad for Fox to get rid of him?
Terrible. I think it is going to be one of the biggest mistakes that they'll ever make.
Why?
Because he was bringing in millions of viewers, and according to Tim Pool, they were more in the key demo. I think that Tim has a better read on where logistics line up in terms of audience, because I know that he pays attention to that kind of stuff. At the very least, if Tucker is in fact pulling in people from, let's just say, a younger key demographic, and Tucker was pulling in a similar demographic, then that's the key demo that you want to keep for longevity over the extended period of time for your network. If you lose a younger generation, 20, 30-year-olds, then you're going to lose a lot of your going forward money. And if that is truly the case, then they're kind of fucked.
Well, they can't rely on Sean Hannity for it, can they?
Who the fuck watches Sean? Like, my dad used to listen to Sean Hannity, and I would listen to, and first of all, that voice just gets me sometimes. Him and Mark Levin both. Levin is worse though, with the hearing the voice over the radio. But like, they're not the people that younger folks want to listen to. They're dry, they're angry, it's not entertaining in the slightest, and it doesn't have nuance.
I think that
Tucker at least presented something interesting.
yeah, I think you're right that this is bad for Fox. They might claim it's good, but until we know more, of course, we can't be certain of how they think they're right because there's nothing. It's just a rather substantial coincidence that upon settling a rather irritating, irksome lawsuit, that Tucker Carlson, one of the more controversial but big names, goes.
Right.
Unless my initial thought upon hearing he was gone was, are they doing this to prevent future lawsuits?
Possible. Like to preempt something?
Yeah, I thought there might be something to that, but I do think you're right that when it comes to the getting rid of Tucker Carlson, they are 100% wrong to do it. Without any further information, it feels wrong. But, oh well, they can find someone else, and good luck trying to get that age bracket who are... So younger people generally are more, not necessarily idealist, but they hold on to what they more seem to be like that than older people generally. So you want more people who are a bit more idealist to join you so you can keep them there. With whatever respective values they hold on to, in this instance, a slightly more conservative leaning value, yet still idealist at the same time. I think that's what you'd want, and if you're getting rid of somebody that draws those people in, you might be setting yourself. You are doing what many have accused the Republicans of doing for years, not being able to win and stay there. And in this instance, that can certainly apply to Fox if this goes wrong.
Yes, absolutely. I do think that is correct.
Very well then.
So we will have to see what happens because I do not expect. Well, you know what? I'll hold my thoughts until we get something else.
Agreed. That's completely fair. So we should move on.
Okay.
What should we talk about next?
So if you think it's something easier to talk about, we could talk about the coronation.
Okay.
Or we could talk about Biden's announcement.
We'll do that afterwards. How about that? So
that sounds good.
On May the 6th, 2023, King Charles III and Camilla, I guess, but I don't know if she actually is coronated. He will be coronated and his official reign as king begins. It is a bank holiday on the Monday as well. We have bank holiday this Monday as well because it's May Day, first Monday, May of the month or whatever it is. And then we have one a week later because of the coronation. So we get extra bank holiday. It's great. I still work on those days, so I don't really benefit from it at all. The English Whiskey Company in the United Kingdom released a special limited edition, limited to 5,000 bottles, coronation bottle of whiskey. I've got one. So has my friend Mr. Dave of Bay, because he eats steak bays. It's great. And it goes in the collection because it will go up in value. And I believe it also, because I've been to their distillery, comes from his personal collection of whiskey there in barrels, which is awesome. Oh, I'm very happy with this. I'm not going to open it because it's going to go up in value. But it's a nice little memento. But yes, King Charles will be officially coronated next Saturday. I intend to watch it. I know many people around the world will, because our coronations, well, we haven't seen one since after World War II. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
But also this will be it will be the same but different, because it's not going to be as... So the reason Queen Elizabeth's was as gaudy, as big, and as like in your face, over the top regal as it was for two reasons. One, because no one had considered stripping it back at that time. Second, World War II was over and the country needed something it could rally behind. And at that point, royal family in the 50s, still very popular. That's not to say they aren't now. It's just there is a growing theme and prevalence of people who want there to be a republic in this country. I'm not one of those people. I don't really care. The royal family make us money. A constitutional monarchy is fine by me. As long as they make me money, I don't care. And by me, I mean the country. They do. They draw in the royal family are worth at least $2 billion. They draw hundreds of millions every year, and they cost the taxpayer comparative to what they earn us. They don't actually cost us all that much.
So like a net zero kind of thing?
Yeah, they cancel it out and they give us back more. So I take no issue with it at all. And
you get culture.
Yes,
you may not like the culture, but you do get that.
They bring in vast amounts of money through tourism, and because they are ambassadors to this country, they are sometimes used by the government to negotiate some deals for trade that no one else can negotiate because a royal family carries a very different type of power. And that really helps. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that your president's a bitch that sleeps most of the time, we'd probably have used the coronation as an excuse to talk to your president about why he hasn't signed a fucking deal with us. But he sent since he's sending his wife in his place because he'll be busy having a nap. I'm not holding out much hope or stock in hope and whatever that he'll actually sign a deal with us.
I wouldn't hold your breath. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to refrain from that as well. I'll only end up suffocating.
Yeah.
And I don't think your president even knows how to breathe. So we know for a fact that the stripped back version won't have a vast number of people who were at, for example, the funeral. The reason why is because King Charles is not interested in having all this extended family present. Also, the royal family in the past, it was not normally this big. Queen Victoria kind of crapped on that by having so many kids. But generally speaking, the royal family kept it very streamlined. There weren't normally many children involved. So in the case of the Queen, she had 4. They all had kids as well, and some of them had kids. That's a lot. Most of them are not invited. Simple as that. I believe
you're not allowed.
I believe 2 out of 3 of his siblings, Anne and Edward, are going to be there, but Andrew will not. But I do believe Andrew's 2 daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, will be there. But they are not given priority seats. Will and Harry will be there. Meghan will not be there. Obviously, Will has to be there, as does Kate, because they are the next in line. As will George. He has to be there. He is also next in line after William. There is this whole palaver about where people sit, where people are made to go. It's stripped back, though. It's not going to be it's going to be pomp, but it's not going to be as pomp as others in the past have been. Well, to be honest, only Queen Elizabeth has really been seen in that kind of video form. It's in black and white, so it's not exactly something, this is going to be very, very unique, for us.
And it's modern, too.
Yes.
Like, there's a modern flair to it, too.
Yes. Other countries do have royal families, and of course they have coronations as well, but when people think of royal families, let's face it here, the British one is one of the very first ones thought of. And that's not because we think we're better, it's just most of my audience are British or American. Okay, the Americans think of our royal family and throwing our tea in the harbour. We think of Americans as inbred. Simple as that.
Wow. Thanks.
You did at least give me Maker's Mark, so I'll give you that.
Ah.
And I'll try not to drink
it
eventually.
The way to the Brit's heart is booze.
I mean, I'm drinking Drambuie right now, so yes.
Proud of you.
Thank you. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because I'm really looking forward to it. My friend Dave, he'll be here for that. We're gonna when we watched the Queen's funeral, we were drinking Johnny Walker Blue. We're gonna pull the same bottle out, drink it for his coronation. We're gonna have steak. It's gonna be a nice day because he's a very pro-royal guy. I'm just more neutral, I guess, but I don't ever lean towards get rid of. I've never felt that way ever. I don't care enough, but I think that it'll be interesting to see as a spectacle and to
I think that's correct as well.
Also, they could put the biggest crown on the planet on his head. It wouldn't matter. His ears are ginormous. That thing will hold that crown up, and you'll never have the issue. But there's the thing with the ceremony because they've got a scepter, they've got an orb, a crown. These are symbols of power and what he is given, his God-given right, I believe. He is also the protector of the faith in this country. It's not the Catholic Church in this country, it's the Church of England. It's not Catholicism, it is Protestant.
Oh, yeah, I did know that, I think, actually.
Yeah, he's
I don't remember.
In this country, he's the defender of the faith. Fun fact, though, Canada, I believe, have removed the defender of the faith from his title over there.
That's ballsy. Why?
I don't know why. I assume as an inclusivity thing because of other faiths. Thing is, he is the defender of the faith of the Church of England. He's the head of that.
Right.
We don't. You'll be hard pressed to. You'll rarely ever see an English pope. Okay, wrong thing. All right. They don't like us much. Although it'd be cool to see a pope in this country.
I guess it kind of makes sense given y'all's issues in Northern Ireland, I suppose.
It doesn't. Yeah, they've signed an agreement.
That might play into some of it too.
It might, but they've signed an agreement, I believe, now, so it's all good as far as I'm aware. And the Good Friday Agreement hasn't been compromised. Although your president did go there for a little visit and talk about the he loves his Irish heritage. Your president, he loves to talk about, and the first thing he did was talk about rugby. Now, rugby is it's men in tight shorts touching each other without the body armor or the stopping and starting in ads and Super Bowl halftime show.
Australian?
Well, they have an Australian team, and New Zealand as well have a team. Rugby is actually from my country, and
is it really?
Yeah, I know, right? But in this
I thought it was originated in fuck. I'm learning things, guys.
It might, to be fair, it might actually be from Australia. But there's a point you've actually almost skipped ahead because your president, instead of referencing an Irish team, actually referenced the All Blacks. That is not an Irish rugby. That's not an Irish rugby team in the slightest. That is very much the wrong country. He's proud of his Irish heritage, everyone. He supports the All Blacks, unless they don't vote Democrat, in which case they're the not quite yet blacks.
Very well done.
I am so happy with myself right now. But yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I know we'll probably have some Irish delegates there, but again, it's stripped back. There'll be some politicians, not all. I think at most it's 2,000, which is still a lot of people, but actually, in the grand scale of what he could have had, it's not many. It really isn't. But I'm looking forward to seeing it and looking forward to having a nice porterhouse steak and just chilling out.
Yes, I think that's
What about
fair.
you? Are you going to check it at all, or are you going to just see bits here and there?
So I find your guys' pomp and circumstance like very interesting. I love it because we don't have. I mean, we do have pomp and circumstance with our respective politicians.
Yeah, military stuff as well.
Yes, the military is amazing. In our processions and our air shows, those things are great.
Yeah.
But nothing ever quite gets to the level of what you guys are doing. That's a bit more interesting.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've got the old-fashioned carriage, and I believe that carriage has been modernized a little. I don't remember how, but I do believe it has Wi-Fi in it.
Nice.
I do believe the windows are bulletproof.
As they should be.
Yes, I do believe there's they obviously never used to be because it didn't need to be. But I do believe they made
or JFK.
Yeah. F in the chat.
Didn't even have a roof.
Magneto tries to deflect the bullet. Okay. Anyway, the carriage has been upgraded a little bit, and I don't know. The thing with the kings is generally they don't wear all the robes, and that's a big point as well. They do wear. He wears. I think he has to wear some of it when he sits on the throne, but the king doesn't wear. Is not obligated to wear that. He actually will wear his military uniform, which almost makes him then look like a freaking despot. Like a general assuming role of head of state. It will look slightly wrong, but at the same time,
yeah, I guess it does kind of. But
it has that. But it has a very strange appearance about it. But actually, he is also the head of the military. So it makes, because he's the only one that can authorize. Well, it's more ceremonial, but he's the only one that can authorize war. The only one,
right?
So it's intriguing. But I'm intrigued to see also. So for example, Prince Andrew's son was actually there. The optics of that makes Charles look like an absolute twat. He can't even get that dickhead out of the house he's currently in and move him somewhere more discreet. He can't, and Andrew, by the way, is literally refusing to leave a £20 million mansion because he wants to move him to Frogmore, which is where Meghan and Harry used to live. A much smaller, much more humble abode, yes. Less in the public eye. And there's a reason, because there's nothing that can ever fix Andrew's reputation. It's through. It's done. The guy doesn't sweat, apparently. Okay, well, that's bullshit. No one cannot not sweat. Okay, shut up. All right?
Heat stroke.
Exactly. Also, you're not a dog. I assume you don't. You have sweat glands. Shut up. All right. You haven't been hit with enough anthrax for that to be true. I think that like he's got his brother, he's got his sister there. It's his wife becomes king. Queen. Well, she might be king actually. It's their queen consort. Now that one did take me off guard because I've always been held. It's a strange one because when Charles passes away, she will not be queen anymore. Straight up. So why give her the title of queen if she can't hold on to it? Say she outlives Charles, right? What would be the point of making her queen instead of queen consort, which makes more sense? But at the same time, Camilla is held in a certain level of positive regard now as well. She's earned the respect of the people. It's not because people don't like or have forgiven the whole debacle with Princess Diana. Of course not. It's more she's earned the respect of the people because she has devoted her time to them, as opposed to being the pretentious twat she was at the start, right? But I think giving her the title of Queen is a bit silly in the grand scheme. Although at the same time, another reason why I think it's a bit silly is because when Queen Elizabeth married Philip, he demanded when she was coronated he be made prince. That was a demand. He told her he would not go through with any of it unless she made him a prince. Okay, well, he died before her, so it doesn't really matter too much. But that was queen and a prince. Okay, that's fine. In this, we have a king and a queen. That doesn't feel right to me. But that's my only gripe, because we know the moment Charles passes, it goes straight to William, meaning her title is then erased. And that feels strange. Well, not erased, but kind of erased. And it feels strange, because she's not blood related to William either. So what happens to Camilla? What happens to Queen Camilla the First? I don't know. I don't really understand it.
Isn't the line of succession also kind of really fucked up? Because there was a guy on the History Channel I know that he went back and forth, and something about a bastard son somewhere, and the current royal family isn't actually the technically correct royal family. Yeah.
So there is something else to add, and I had to quickly look this up. Lady Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, she married the Duke of York in 1923. She became Queen Elizabeth when her husband was crowned King George VI in 1937. On the death of King George VI in 1952, she became known as simply the Queen Mother.
Yes.
And Queen, by the way, the Queen Mother was insanely popular. She lived to 102. Her daughter wasn't that far behind her. Queen Elizabeth got to what? How old did she get to? 90. I can't remember now. 96. Come on. Those Elizabeths live forever. They live for too long. But yeah,
a bit.
But the title, to an extent, actually carried on with her. But in this, would it carry on with her with Camilla? I don't think it does, because she's not. In no offense to her at all, and I'm not trying to take away from her involvement in William and Harry's life, although in Harry's it's very limited. I don't think she can be called Queen Mother either. I think she might be reduced to I don't know what actually. Maybe a duchess or princess. I don't know. What is Camilla's title actually? Well, the Queen Consort. Let's find out. You carry on.
Well, I'm trying to think. Isn't Duchess a different kind of a term? Doesn't that one have a different overall meaning as well? It's not princess because it's not line of succession. But isn't Duchess essentially just another form of royal?
So when she married Charles, she became known as the Duchess of Cornwall. I think she would simply go back to that. She was also known in Scotland as the Duchess of Rothesay. Scotland do something weird with their pronunciations and spellings. They never sound like how they're spelt, so I've no doubt got that wrong. It could be Rothesay. I don't know. It's yeah. The interesting thing is, not long after the coronation, money will start to be reprinted in this country. There'll be a time limit for that when you can sort of get rid of the older currency. I'll keep hold of some coins that are like limited edition ones. I've got some silver coins with Queen Elizabeth on. I know will go up in value as time goes by because it's silver. That's not normal currency. Well, they are. They're £5 coins technically, but I'm not going to bloody well use them because they're worth.
But they're also kind of collectors.
Exactly. They're solid silver, so they'll go up in value.
Like 99.
I bought them as an investment basically years ago, and I've got a little collection of about 50 of them. So over the years, that each one was worth about 25 quid then. It's about 40 now, so I'll keep that growing. I don't give a shit. That's my I've also got that Brexit 50p in solid silver, and that's worth a bit as well. But yeah, I think the money will change. The crests will change everywhere because Charles has a more streamlined version with a C and a 3. There will be changes. Obviously, God Save the King is now the national anthem, which is a handy thing because you wait until one day. I doubt it will happen, but one day we're going to have God Save Our Gracious Them. Long live our noble Fisher Them. God Save Sam Smith. Sorry, hang on. Shouldn't I play it on? I should play that. Hang on. Can I do it?
I don't.
No.
Maybe.
No, fuck it. God save Sam Smith, everyone. I was playing it. It's on my end. It's fine.
Good. Yes.
People will hear me cock it up on my end. It's fine. I probably would have sounded better if I had a pick in my hand, not my thumb. Never mind.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, well, let's get on to Biden's big announcement. I know what this is, by the way, and I am so ready for it.
Yes. So this is obviously Biden is going to be running for le president.
Yay!
Again. No. It's not good.
But he won last time, which means he'll win again.
Well, that's not the problem.
You mean 4 more years is the problem?
Yeah.
But
Especially because we're also running around with what's her face? Kamala.
Oh, Kamala?
Yeah, she's kind of a fucking
liability.
nut.
I can't. Yes. Normally the VP or one of them is usually the VP or the president is a liability. In the last White House, it was Trump because he just said everything.
Right.
This time, it's both of them.
Yeah.
Before Trump, it was Biden.
Also true.
Before Biden, I mean, hang on, who was it before? Was it Cheney and Bush? I'd argue it would be Bush to an extent, but only because he's clumsy.
Yeah, it was kind of both, but like they both had their own like
quirks,
moments of clarity as well.
Yeah, and before that, it was obviously just Bill Clinton.
Right, yeah, Bill Clinton was definitely
in the Oval Office.
And then Al Gore in 2000, he wasn't part of anything, but he was a liability.
But the hanging Chad, everyone, the hanging Chad.
I want to die.
The Electoral College, man. He had the popular vote, everyone.
Anyway. Yeah. So there's a bunch with that. But yeah, so Joe Biden has announced he is going to be running once again.
At least you know who the Democratic nominee is, because no one's going to run against him because they can put everything into him along with life supports and try and get a win again.
Yeah. One of the issues that I'm worried about, though, isn't necessarily that he's going to be like a winner per se.
Okay.
But rather that if it's Trump and Biden again, I'm worried that we're going to have a repeat of all the complaints that existed in the past, and we're going to see more bitching about potential fraud narratives, which didn't help us in the slightest. But
I agree. I don't know what's going on with the Republicans at the moment. I've not heard much over here at all about it. We have our own things right now of racism and reparations, which is apparently doing its rounds.
We had that.
But I don't know who are the contenders for your party right now. Not yours. Sorry, the Republican Party.
So our contenders that have announced are Trump, Nikki Haley. DeSantis still hasn't announced yet. So what he could be, doing in the future is basically up for, speculation. Some people say that DeSantis would be a good choice. Some people say that DeSantis would be a bad choice. Some people say that he would be better off just, continuing to do what he's doing in Florida, and that he's doing well as a governor. Why change it?
Yeah. Just a quick
Which
thing.
I think is actually a valid point.
Fair point. Quick thing. Nikki Haley said recently Joe Biden is likely to die before his 86th birthday. I mean, getting that far is impressive enough. How old is Biden? Isn't he in his 80s already? Yeah, he's 80. He's 80. He was born on the 20th of November, 1942. Shit. He is actually quite old.
Great.
Trump is 76. Oh, and Mike Pence has been testifying to the grand jury about Donald Trump on January 6th. Oh.
Yeah, he was finally subpoenaed for that.
Well, he's a popular man right now, of course.
Yeah, I think it has more to do with the fact that they need anybody and everybody that could possibly give them an edge on Trump. That they're going to throw whatever spaghetti they have against the wall and see what sticks. It's similar in this whole E. Jean Carroll rape accusation that they've got going on.
Yeah, that's going on as well at the same time, isn't it?
Yes, and there are mixed opinions there as well, because you have some people who are like, oh, what's this about? Oh, it's about a person who's talking about a sexual assault that may or may not have happened like 20 years ago, or longer, I think, actually.
Okay. I have a query about Nikki Haley.
Okay.
She was the governor for South Carolina. Do we know anything about her political career at all?
Actually, she was she was the governor for a few years, not very long, if I remember correctly. Then
6
she got
years.
an ambassador. Yeah, and then she got an ambassadorship.
Yeah, I've got it
Or
here
she
now.
got some sort of cabinet position.
Yeah, she was U.S. ambassador to the UN for 2 years. I've just pulled it up.
Yes. So there's always that as well. I think that with that information, though, that she has a valid, way in.
Well, she's
I just don't think her policy positions are strong enough.
Okay, well, just a quick thing. She was a 2-term governor for South Carolina, which is not bad. 2011 to 2017, that's not bad at all.
Right.
Before then, she was in the House of Representatives for 6 years. South Carolina House of Representatives, that is. So her career's not that long. It started in 2005 and pretty much stopped in 2018. It's not the longest of careers, but it's not a bad career, really, is it?
No, certainly not.
Don't see what her positions, electoral history. Do I have anything on her actual Oh, here we go. That's just one big paragraph. I'm not reading that. Okay, I don't know what her positions are.
She has mixed positions on topics, and that's where things get a little weird, because there are some instances where she has been proven to have certain positions that are remarkably for conservative opinions, and then she has some where she deviates from conservative opinions. What's a good example? Hold on.
Hello, YouTube chat, by the way. Hope you're well today. Do smash the like. If you're listening on Spotify, hit the follow.
Let's see here. like one of the things, like he's definitely, she definitely flip flopped like just on Trump as a person for a while.
Is that because of optics, or because perhaps something came out and she had to flip flop away from Trump?
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But at the very least, I know that whatever like choice she did make in that instance, like it didn't it was 2015, so Haley was sharply critical of Trump during his 2016 presidential campaign.
I mean, everyone was then, because why on earth would a reality TV guy and a billionaire business mogul guy with properties and golf clubs be involved in politics? And he did exactly what he set out to do, and that was prove how corrupt politics was.
Yeah, and the other thing was that she did publicly disavow Trump in the January 6th thing, basically saying that he lost all credibility by being a part of that, and so that all go the wrong way.
That doesn't help her. It doesn't help her with more conservative, especially when anyone that looks at it and realises he didn't incite anything. He used the same language everyone else uses. If someone takes it literally, it doesn't mean he incited it. And also, most of the people that got arrested didn't go to prison for that long, if at all.
Well, and honestly, what they got arrested for, majority of them were trespassing.
Yeah. I mean, come on, they put Mantar got he got a load of crap, but then he was in video. You saw him being escorted by authorities through the building, like he was a tourist.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'll admit, the guy who took the lectern, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Right, that cracked me up. I loved that. I would have bought if that went on eBay. I would have happily tried to bid on it. Okay, that would have been awesome. I could have it for my stream here. That'd be awesome.
I think probably same, honestly.
Come on, who wouldn't want an Omegon stream with Meg delivering his sermon at a lectern? I'd like that.
I don't know, but that just sounds hilarious.
I'm just glad I remember the word lectern.
I guess one of the interesting other things that we could expect from a specifically like a Nikki Haley kind of run is that we get to see them back on the debate stage. Now, I love debate stages. Apparently, the Democrats may not be having those anymore.
So, okay, I took great umbrage with the lack of debates with the Democrats and with Biden, because I know less is more, and obviously he can't do as much. But fuck off, he is in one of the most powerful positions on the planet. He has to step up. If he can't do it, then that further proves the point he shouldn't be there. And this is as bad as that guy who's mentally handicapped because of his brain damage being elected freaking senator.
Fetterman.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been. I mean, okay, his opponent wasn't exactly the brightest, but he shouldn't have been elected. He shouldn't have been allowed to stand. The man can barely stand on his own 2 feet anyway without questioning whether his leg is twitching.
I feel actually worse for John Fetterman because I feel like they hyped him up outside of his own thought process. If you know what I mean?
Oh no, I get you.
I feel like they basically had. I think they abused him, but like whatever.
I tend to agree because don't forget he's now a senator. He's got 6 years. Others are going to be doing all that work for him because he cannot do it. And the same applied to Biden. He's done sod all beyond vetoes and making it seem like he's doing stuff by saying things, but then when he opens his mouth for more than one sentence, he immediately loses cohesion. He can do the one sentence he has to practice all night, but once he has to start doing more, he is done. And he's not helped by the fact that the person who's meant to have his back is also a functioning moron that when she opens her mouth cannot count from 1 to 2 and struggles to say yes, no, and maybe without making it sound like she's just read the words all together at once because she can't give a definitive answer without sounding like, again, a functioning moron.
Yeah.
My prime minister is Indian, of Indian heritage, I believe. Was it Pakistan?
Yeah.
He's from East. Yeah, he's from East Asia. Oh, his heritage is that anyway. and he was asked by a member of the Labour Party, who is, I believe, African English, when they will pay reparations. And I thought, you couldn't have picked the wrong Prime Minister to ask that to, because from his background, you'd think he'd be okay. He would consider it, and I will now confirm his. I don't want to get it wrong. He's British, and obviously he is that. But he was born. Southeast African born Hindu parents of Indian Punjabi descent. There we go. So he's born to parents from Africa, but part of Indian Punjabi descent. That's that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot.
It is, and he's also incredibly wealthy. But the point is, if you're going to ask somebody about reparations, you're not going to go to a guy who is of Indian Punjabi descent, considering the Commonwealth and what we did to India. You know?
Yeah.
Although we did make a lot of them sultans just to make them feel better and more important. Okay, well, we'll finish with this question. If Biden runs for president, and let's say it's Nikki Haley, do you think he wins?
Yes, I think Donald Trump wins. Oh well.
Okay,
yes.
Then I'll go to the next one. If it's Ron DeSantis, does he win?
Maybe not.
If it's Donald Trump, does Biden win?
I'm gonna go with yes, and the reason why is because I think that they are going the for Biden vote is easily overtaken by the anti-Trump vote. And a lot of people neglect that information when talking about what's going on.
So I think I know nothing of Nikki Haley, so I'm not disregarding, but I have to put her to one side for the time being. I don't think he beats DeSantis convincingly. I think it'd be too close. I think he'll get the popular vote, Biden will, but I don't know about the Electoral College. With Trump, I tend to agree, but only because I think that with the damage done to him after leaving office, while not damage, I don't think he sees it as damage. I don't think many spin doctors can help him when his presence online has been reduced so much. He may have his own platform, that's fine, but he's not on the main ones because he was excommunicated, and without those, he has lost so much of what made him so powerful.
I think you are correct in that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if we'll ever see a opportunity unless there's some massive change that I couldn't even possibly speculate on. Like he would need, in order for Trump to be able to outdo Biden's like anti-Trump vote.
Yeah.
Something like declaring war on Russia would need to happen. But even still, that is a tough thing to sell.
What about China?
Because at that point, well, that too. Yeah, any kind of foreign war that we would just suddenly engage in would probably be an overall negative to his to his numbers. But even still, that may not hurt him enough because wartime presidents rarely don't get.
I mean, look at Bush. He got 2 terms when he probably didn't deserve it.
Right, but we were attacked in that aspect.
Exactly. But that's the point, isn't
So
it? Because you
Russia
guys
would
did
have
go
to attack us.
Yeah, I think that there's arguments perhaps a war here and there with China gearing up for Taiwan and Russia getting a bit ballsy. Anyway, we'll finish with that. I think that's a good way to end. And you obviously have things to do in a moment.
Yep.
Are you here next week?
I am.
So we will be streaming here next week. I'm going to push the planned whiskey stream to I think Sunday. Thank you everyone for joining us. We're now going to disappear. This stream will be up on Spotify tomorrow. Do go follow us there. It is Moisky Live, the name of this channel. Basically, type it into Spotify. Give us a follow. We'd appreciate it. We are going to try and sexify the audio. By that I mean I am. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next time. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
I had to finish with didn't I? Good night, Trups.
Yeah.